Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated Legacy action. Wilds of Eldraine is now out on Magic Online, so we are playing the new busted hotness from that set, which is Beseech the Mirror. If you're unfamiliar with this card, 1 black, 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 search your library for a card, exile it face down and shuffle. If the spell was bargained, which is where you sacrifice an artifact, enchantment or token as you cast the spell, then you get to cast it without paying its mana cost as long as its mana value is 4 or less. Otherwise you put it into your hand. So we're not really going to be casting this for Diabolic Tutor of 4 mana, but we are going to be casting it for 4 mana, cast a pretty good spell. So what we can do is we can cheat the restrictions on certain cards like a Gaia's Will, for example, which is not normally something you get to cast because you have to suspend it. So because of Beseech the Mirror's text, we get to play this card as good old-fashioned Yawgmoth's Will. So we can play a bunch of stuff out, sack something to Beseech the Mirror, get this Gaia's Will, replay the stuff that we sacked, like our petals or whatever, or the LEDs that we're cracking in response, etc. These will come back, and then we get to cast Beseech the Mirror again from the graveyard, and find something like a Tendrils of Agony. This particular list is a Tony Scappone creation. Whenever I see something busted in the sort of Storm ballpark, I do a little Google and see what Tony's working on, and this is one he posted to MTG Goldfish, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. If you're unfamiliar with Tony Scappone, I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Pretty much one of the best Storm content creators you could imagine, so definitely check his stuff out. The reason I went looking for something in the Spanish Inquisition ballpark is Beseech the Mirror wants you to have things to sacrifice to get the ability working on it. So Culling the Weak is another powerful thing that is going to sort of double up on that. So we're going to have Ornithopters, and they're not just there for Beseech the Mirror, they're also there for Culling the Weak. So there's kind of more juice to squeeze out from these Ornithopters. We also have a grief package here, so we have these 4 grief that we can fire off to disrupt our opponent's hand and then sacrifice them with Culling the Weak in response to the evoke trigger, so we get to generate mana off of them. But it doesn't stop there. We also have a Goblin Charbelcher, which is going to be pretty interesting here. The only lands we have are Aghanim's Awakening, which don't count as lands when they are in the deck. So this will be a one-shot kill if we can get it to go. And this is something that we can tutor for with Beseech the Mirror. And things like Lion's Eye Diamond perfectly activates for 3 mana to ping off the ability. We've also got an Echo of Eons plan with some Entomb. There's quite a lot going on here, but essentially we're trying to make a load of spells and chain into a kill of some description. Usually Tendrils, but sometimes Charbelcher. The Entombs we have here are mainly for getting the Echo of Eons, but what it can do is also find us this Narcomoeba, which will put a creature into play, because as soon as we put it into our graveyard, it pops into play, so it can fuel things like Beseech or a Culling the Weak, which is some pretty spicy tech that I like the look of. So there's a lot to enjoy with this deck. How well I can necessarily play it, we'll see. I'm certainly not an expert at playing Storm decks at all. But we wanted to play Beseech the Mirror and try and do the fastest, most broken thing possible with it. So here we are. Sideboard-wise, you know we're doing something broken because we've got 4 Leyline of Anticipation. This is so that we can try and goldfish our opponent on their turn 1 when they are on the play. So, pretty interesting. You quite often see this in some Charbelcher lists because we're kind of a glass cannon all-in deck a little bit, so having something that just helps us go faster is nice. We have 4 ley lines for graveyard matchups where we can also bring in the Helm of Obedience, so we can Beseech for it and do a combo kill. We have an Empty the Warrens if we need another Storm spell to kind of get things going. We have 4 Orcish Bowmasters, which does produce 2 bodies for sacrificing stuff, as well as being able to punish some cantrips and things. Quite where this is at its best, I'm not entirely sure, personally, but we're going to see how it feels and play it off. And we have the One Ring that we should go and fetch. I think the making yourself have protection from everything is going to be quite an important aspect of this card when we do bring it in. And yeah, that's the deck. Tony Scappone creation that I'm going to try and muddle through playing. But we are going to do some pretty busted stuff with Beseech the Mirror throughout this league. Unless things go horribly wrong. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to do it at least one time. Alright, before we jump into the league, if you've got any new busted creations you'd like to see played on my channel, by all means get in touch via the Discord in the description below. Or just leave me a comment on a video and we can sort that out for a donation deck of whatever weird and wonderful things you have got going. Alright, remember to like and subscribe and let's play some Spanish Mirror. If you're looking to play Legacy on MTGO like me, why not try Card Hoarder? They're a rental service that I personally use, and I found them better than other rental services that I've used in the past. So why not give them a try? Well, this is our opening hand for game 1. We can play Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Opal. That gives us Infernal Tutor for a wheel that we can then crack with. We can do Echo, so I think we can keep this one. We might be able to grief them before trying to go off as well, but we're going to be wheeling them into a whole fresh grip of cards. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, so probably going to have to play around some amount of permission this game. An Echo of Eons, you say? That is an interesting one, isn't it? How do we want to play out this turn? I think we want to play out our land first, so that we can play around dazes and things. We don't need to Infernal Tutor now. It's kind of interesting. Then we can evoke this. So we evoke this, put the Infernal Tutor underneath the Chrome Mox, then wheel. That's probably okay. So let's try this out. Okay, none of these things really matter right now. So shields very much down from our opponent there. So we can play this Chrome Mox out here. This just means we have a whole bunch of mana available after we've Echo of Eons here. Let's cast this Echo of Eons with Flashback. This does give our opponent a whole new grip of cards as well. But we have a bunch of mana in play. We probably should have tapped this Mox Opal first while we still have Metalcraft. But it looks like we still have Metalcraft. Okay. So if we Cabal Therapy first, we're going to get one Culling the Weak here. How much mana do we have? So we can Entomb. Play out this Lotus Petal first. So we can... This represents 4 mana. So if we Cabal Therapy, then we have 3 mana available. So that 3 mana goes down to 2 mana for Entomb, which will get us a Narcomoeba, but then goes up for Culling the Weak. Right, I think we just have the mana to do the things we want here. Let's try and Cabal Therapy. We're going to name Force of Will here. I think we can play around a daze. There's a Force of Will and some other stuff that doesn't matter. Excellent. Okay, so now we play out Ornithopter. We cast Culling the Weak, sacrificing our Ornithopter. And we cast Entomb for Narcomoeba. Then we Culling the Weak our Narcomoeba. Up to 6 mana. And we have 2 more mana available. Here's a Goblin Charbelcher. And here is a win. So we reveal our whole deck. And we shoot our opponent to minus 27 life. Pretty cool. Alright. Now, how are we supposed to beat this deck that's going to have lots of permission? There's a possibility that we can just string together and empty the Warrens stuff going on. And the Echoes feel a lot less useful here. Are we supposed to be bringing in the Bowmasters in a situation like this? Or the Leyline will really slow down our opponent as well. So that's another option. We could do something like board in Leyline and Helm here. Obviously trying to resolve Helm might be a bit difficult, so I'm not convinced on that one. Maybe we just want some Bowmasters to kind of mess with our opponent a little bit. I think we still want some amount of Echoes in here. Or are we just cutting the Echoes entirely? Let's smash in a couple of Bowmasters. I think having 1 Echo to find is probably okay. The sideboarding with decks like this is always where I fall down, because it becomes more difficult. I think we don't need as many Entombs if our opponent is going to be bringing in some sort of graveyard hits. We can trim on that as well. We'll try something like this. Like, the Leyline of the Void can slow down our opponent's threats, but I don't think that's where we want to be. Just have like a nice Storm spell in there. And yeah, sure. So our opponent's probably not going to have a lot of creature removal in their deck at this point. But we've got these 4 griefs and we have a Cabal Therapy, so let's see if this works out alright for us. So I don't think this opening hand really goes anywhere. So this isn't going to be tapping for mana. We can play this, but then what? We're not really getting anywhere. Let's mulligan for something a bit stronger. So what do we have here? We can grief our opponents. And then what are we doing, really? I think we can do better. This one has a Culling the Weak line off of our grief. But then where do we go with that? So if we were to keep this hand, we need a black card to pitch to grief. So let's say Bowmasters. So we play grief, pitching the Bowmasters. Then we Culling the Weak in response. That takes us up to 4 mana. We also need a black card to go into our Chrome Mox here. So we're keeping 5 cards. We throw away the Mox Opal and Culling the Weak here. So this goes into here. No, this doesn't quite get us there either. Although we could keep it and maybe draw a black card. But just drawing the Infernal Tutor, where does that actually take us? Sorry, I think we can keep this one. I don't like it, but I think we do something like this. We might need to draw a couple of cards before going off. You've kind of got a lot of ingredients here, and drawing something that can imprint to Chrome Mox is quite likely here, because that's most of our deck. It's wall from our opponent. We don't really need to fire our stuff off until we're ready to do some sort of going off type things. There's no point just throwing this grief out, because we need it for the Culling the Weak mana. Maybe we need more. If we can get more mana going, that's fine. But a lot of our deck is mana, so probably going to draw an Ornithopter now, because that's how this game works sometimes. Right, so drawing card off this bauble. We have a Mox Opal. Okay, so if we can draw an artifact, we need an artifact and a black card. And then we can get our Mox Opal switched on. A Null Rod. Okay, that's pretty devastating for us. But we do have this Orcish Bowmasters, I suppose. But we need to find some mana to actually do anything with it. Alright. We're in passing the turn mode. Might prove a little bit challenging here for us. There's a Channeler. Drawing a Agadeem Awakening thing would probably be alright here. Kind of get the ball rolling. We can do a Grief, and then we can end up with a decent amount of mana here. So yeah, if we can draw the Agadeem Awakening here, we can go up to 7 mana, go down to 5 with Infernal Tutor, and then Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, and find a way to win the game with that. Seems possible. We're not going to be able to tap our Moxen for mana here though, which is going to be awkward. A Narcomoeba. It's not really what we were after, was it? So we get rid of one of our artifacts here. Yeah, so our opponent's starting the clock going now, so 3 damage from this Channeler. A Lion's Eye Diamond. Play that one out. I guess we could have played out the Mox Opal instead of discarding it. Not that it makes a huge amount of difference underneath this Null Rod. It's going to be a Bowmasters at end turn, sure. This shuts off some Echo lines, which is fine. Not really big into Echo. We just need to draw our Agadeem's Awakening. Then we can grief them and do all the good stuff. Now we are getting clocked for 5 a turn here, so that's going to be 3 more turns. Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, just cast this. Our opponent has seen our whole deck, so there's not really a lot of value in trying to hide anything. They've got another Bowmasters here that does improve the clock for them. Or a Lightning Bolt. So they have another Lightning Bolt. We are dead this turn. And Agadeem is not going to be a thing we get to do anything with now either, because we're on 3 life, so we can't pay the 3 life for it. So we are just dead here. Okay. A little bit less exciting there. What do we want to do here? Are we still looking at doing the Bowmasters thing and trimming on Echo, or do we just want to go harder here and just resubmit the game 1 deck and hope that it's good? Or the game 1 deck with added Empty the Warrens. That's probably fine. Sure, we'll try those. What does this hand do? Play all these out. That gives us 2 mana, 3 mana, and then what are we doing? We can put this into our graveyard for next turn. I think we probably need some disruption somewhere on the line, so I'm going to try and mulligan this one. This hand is very all-in. Like, this is just a straight-up Echo hand, and I think we can mulligan a bit lower and still get an Echo hand. So we're going to mulligan here. Kind of was hoping for a piece of disruption. From 5 cards, we can Culling the Weak. Can't quite get this Echo. We can imprint the Chrome Mox with an Narcomoeba, but it's still not helping us cast anything. I think we have to go lower Yikes. Have we just mulliganed ourselves into oblivion here? So, it doesn't really have any payoffs. So I think we... that's not true, actually. We can put this in Tomb. So we could do... We need Petal, Ornithopter. We can't do this on the amount of cards we have. Okay, I guess we're just going lower for an Echo Hand, I suppose. As ugly as that is. Sure. Let's mulligan to the Echo Hand. Alright, we didn't hit it. And now we've just made ourselves look like a clown. I think 2 cards is better than 1 here. Yikes. We're definitely not keeping this guy as well. We don't have the resources to play these Moxen. Guess Beseech the Mirror is kind of going to pull us out of it later on, but yikes. Okay, I guess we just keep some mana. I think this game is over. Maybe we should have just kept that Echo Hand. I thought we could get something a bit better than an Echo Hand, like an Echo with a bit of disruption, but then we've kind of mulliganed ourselves into oblivion there. So if our opponent plays a Null Rod, we definitely lose, but they mulliganed as well to try and hit some interaction, I assume, which is why I didn't want to just keep a hand that did whatever. I needed something that could try and have a little bit of disruption, but maybe that's just a bit greedy. They did not shuffle their library with that ponder. Okay, alright, that's part of the equation. We need to find a Lion's Eye Diamond, but I'm not expecting to resolve a spell here. Or at least not an important spell. We'll probably let us have Mox Opal and stuff. We're not going to be able to resolve an Echo or whatever. But we'll see. There's Dragon's Rage Channeler. There's Ponder. Culling the Weak. That's something, I suppose. We need something to go with it, though. Maybe I'm mulliganing too aggressively with this deck, because we do need a decent chunk of resources to get rolling. A Brainstorm. Scalding Tower from our opponent. Still not delirious with the Channeler. They need a 4th type. They've got instant, sorcery, and land. Grafdigger's Cage. Well, that certainly cuts off one of the lines we're looking to do here. But we can still do some kind of Beseech the Mirror chain. It's not looking good for us. That's all I'm going to say right now. An Ornithopter. Okay, that's part of the puzzle. So if we find another artifact, we can play our Ornithopter and sack it to Culling the Weak. We don't have anything to do with that yet, but that's something. Our opponent's hand is going to be pretty sculpted at this point, though. Yep, so take some more damage off this Channeler. We've got a few turns. We're not an ad nauseam deck, so we don't care about a life total that much. Just a resource that buys us time to hopefully draw the bits that will win us the game. What is this? Blue. Is this going to be Murktide? That's going to take a big bite out of the clock there. Okay. So try to leave their Channeler intact. Or is this just meaning that they're going to play another Murktide? That doesn't do anything here. So we're going to take half our life total this turn. And then we're dead on the next turn. So our next draw has to be... I don't really know what our next draw can be to help us out here. We had a turn 1 in the first game. So that was cool. There's a Delver. I don't think there's anything we can draw to get us out of this. Nope. Alright. Yeah, maybe I was a bit too hasty with some of my mulligans and we could have just kept things and just drawn into them, but that's my inexperience with Storm deck showing a little bit there. Let's go to round 2. Welcome to round 2. Our opening hand, we can entomb for... No, we can't entomb for Narcomoeba because it's in our hand. Not great. I think this one has to go back. Oakley dokely. What does this one do? This one can Infernal Tutor, but not for anything useful. Bit awkward there. But we're only 1 mana away from casting a Beseech the Mirror. So I think we keep this. And we probably throw back the Echo here. We kind of want the black card to pitch to Grief. This is not the fastest of hands. I don't think we're supposed to play anything out here. I think we're supposed to keep it in hand. So we're going to have a weird turn where we skip through everything. But we just need one more piece of mana. We can get a Beseech train going. A basic plains. Okay. Oh, for a minute I thought they weren't going to be playing anything too unfair. But let's see. Chroma. This looks like an initiative list. So if they play Archon of Emeria, we will just lose. Touch the Spirit Realm. Don't play an Archon, please. Chalice for 1. That's okay. We definitely have things that get shut off by, but they're not in our hand right now, so I can live with that. An Echo. Are we supposed to fire off this Grief now? I think we're supposed to fire off the Grief now, which means we're probably binning off the Infernal Tutor to do that. We still want our opponent getting anything too scary. And now we know what they are. We're not playing around counter spells, we're playing out permanents that come into play. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's the thing they can cast next turn, which I think I'd rather they cast that than Seasoned Engineer though. Because Seasoned Engineer will kill us in just a very short handful of turns. Are we supposed to play these petals and things out now? I don't think so. I think if we can find another mana, we can storm our way to victory quite easily. Here's Plateau. Here comes a Fable. There it is. We have a mystery card in hand. We're not under a lot of pressure. Another Grief. That's not really the one, is it? So we want to very much draw a mana source. If we can draw a petal or a ritual or something, then we do just kill. Obviously, time is... Oh, well, not a ritual actually because of the chalice, right? So it has to be a petal. Or... I don't think it does it if we have the land actually either. Okay, so a petal. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can Beseech the Mirror. If we go and get back our... If we play Gaia's Will, we then replay this, this, and this. But we can't Beseech the Mirror then. Okay. This is tricky. We don't have enough for a Tendrils kill or anything here. 4 mana. We need one more mana is the problem. Alright. They can bash us up for another turn. Yeah, we are 1 mana shy of being able to get this going. So we take 6 this turn. Then we take 8 next turn, and then we die. So we've got 1 more draw step we've given ourselves here. Right, they're drawing some more cards. I don't really care about what they're drawing that much, because we are dead on board. We just need to find a little bit more mana. That doesn't do it. So we can do a little mini Tendrils to survive with Beseech the Mirror. How many Storm can we make here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not quite enough, is it? We could Beseech for a Lion's Eye Diamond and Echo. That's a thing that we're allowed to try and do. Right, let's begin with this Cabal Therapy going on. Sorry, not Cabal Therapy, Grief. See what they're working with over there? None of this really matters, does it? Solitude could gain them a little bit of extra life, instant speed. So we'll take that one. So this goes away. So we play out this petal. This petal. Storm 3. This gives us Storm 4. Storm 5, 6, 7. So it's not enough to do that. So we cast Beseech the Mirror here. Sacrifice this. I think we are priced into the Lion's Eye Diamond here. We don't have anything to chain this second one off. If we actually no, hold on. If we no, because the Mox Opal's in the graveyard, isn't it? What am I talking about? The Mox Opal's in the graveyard, so we get Gaia's Will here, and we have the kill, right? Yes, we do. Cast out paying its mana cost. All right, yeah. So we do have a kill here. Cool. So we go play this. And we could have killed them last turn as well. Alright, I did mention that I'm not great with the old Storm decks. And we are playing with new technology today as well to make it even more difficult. Cast this. Yeah, so they know we're just going to cast Beseech the Queen. Beseech the Mirror and drain them out of Tendrils. Alright, we got there. So now we have to worry about our opponent having the Archon and stuff. So I think there's two ways you can approach this. You can either go for like a Leyline Helm kill in your deck, but the fact that we probably need to cast mana to get up to Beseech to get our stuff in means that's not very good. Or we can play the Leyline and just try and cheese them out. So let's try and cheese them out. Now, how are we supposed to fit these 4 Leylines in is the next question. We don't need Cabal Therapy here. That's not what we're doing. And I guess we don't need the Griefs here either. But maybe Cabal Therapy is better than the Grief. Forget one thing. I guess Empty the Warrens is acceptable here as a thing we can do. Alright, let's try and turn 1 our opponent on their turn 1. So what does this hand do? No starting mana. Okay, I think we can mulligan this one. What about this one? So we could go play these 3. Culling the Weak. That gets us up to 7 mana. And then we go down 2 more. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not quite lethal. I think this hand is close though. Let me keep this and throw back the Tendrils. It doesn't need a lot of help. Now they could just play something on turn 1 that absolutely wrecks us, of course. Like a Chalice or something. But I think having a hand that has a reasonable shot at turn 1ing. Okay, Fable the Mirror Breaker. That doesn't bother us too much. It means we're going to be able to dig into some good stuff coming up. But if we can just roll here, then we'll be alright. See what we have here. Some more mana would be nice. The Leyline of Anticipation. Oh, that's massively jammed up our hand now, isn't it? That's kind of about the worst draw we could have had. Like any spell we could cast would be nice, but we can't do that now because our Infernal Tutor won't be able to get us anything. Yuck, that's disgusting. Okay, I think we are our own worst enemy right there. Alright, our opponent looted away a couple of cards and bashed us for 2. They've got a follow-up here. They can play a lot of stuff from their deck here. Archon of Emeria. Okay. Can we beat that? I don't think we can. I think we'll just... that's not true. We do have the Charbelcher. But how are we going to get the mana to cast the Charbelcher? Yeah. Let's bin this one off. Alright. So now we don't want these ley lines. And I don't know if we still want the empty. I think the empty still appeals to me a little bit. 3 Grief in and a Cabal Therapy. Because making a lot of creatures against our opponent's deck is kind of good, I think. Let's try something like this. Have a nice bonkers turn 1 hand, please. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So we play this one out. Play this one out. This one. And this one. So we have 1, 2, 3 mana here. It becomes 5 mana off of this. Then we Beseech the Mirror. Into what is the question? I guess we have 3 permanent mana sources. So we can just Beseech the Mirror into Charbelcher. And our opponent's got 1 turn to not lose the game. Sure, I'll keep this. So we'll play this one out. Pay 3 life. So we could just go 3, 4. We could just cast both of these to then Beseech the Mirror. And that keeps these in hand. But if our opponent's got a Chalice for 0, that's going to really jam us up. So I think we do need to play these out. So we cast the Ornithopter. We play out this Chrome Mox. I think we imprint the Cabal Ritual here. And play out this. We will need to find something else here. If we're beseeching right now, we will need to find something else to turn our Mox Opal on. I think that's fine. Cast with Bargain. I guess we sack this Ornithopter off because that's not one of our mana pieces. So we could... Hold on. If we get the Gaia's Will actually here, we go 3 mana off of this and that doesn't take us anywhere. Okay. No, we're right not to do that. So I think we just want the Charbelcher here. Alright, so any artifact wins us the game. Any mana source wins us... Well, actually not any artifacts. Other Mox Opals don't win us the game. Plateau for my opponent. And a Lotus Petal. And a Chromox. I guess something like an Anointed Peacekeeper would jam us up quite a bit here. Though if we draw a Lion's Eye Diamond, we're still okay. Okay, this is fine. We need some turns to draw our thing, and our opponent's going to give us a reasonable amount of turns. This is the best thing they can do. That's Mana Source. Go on. Not a Mana Source. We do actually. No, sorry. We already got. I'm looking for an artifact here, but we have one because of Charbelcher. We just have our opponent dead here. All right. Yeah. I always embarrass myself a little bit when I play Storm, but we got there. We got there. All right. On to round 3. All right. Our opening hand here doesn't have any starting mana, so I think we're going to mulligan this one. What are we looking at here? We got a load of mana. We don't really have anything to do with it. I do like the amount of resources we have here. But although I suppose the second Culling the Weak doesn't do that much, although we can entomb Culling the Weak. So we could keep this and we just need to draw a payoff. But we don't have... I suppose we got like, what, 4 tutors, 4 beseech, that's 8. An LED, that's another 4 hits. Charbelcher. Alright, I've talked myself into this one. We've got a lot of hits. And we've got 13 plus hits. A Dark Ritual, you say? Interesting. So if I play the Agadeem's Awakening here, and it gets wastelanded, that's terrible for us. But if we play it out and we do an Entomb, we might get some action out of our opponents. Do I think a Misty Rainforest is going to be a deck that wastelands us? Could be. I think I'd rather try and play around counter spells in the wasteland here. So we're going to hold up our Entomb and see if we can get some action off of our opponent that way. I'm going to see an end turn Brainstorm maybe? No. Okay. Although if we Entomb now for a Narcomoeba, we don't know if we actually want the Narcomoeba. We might want the Echo. So maybe we're not supposed to play this Entomb. But I think paying the 3 life so that we have the option to, we're still fine. I think we ideally want to win before our life total really matters. So my heuristics for playing this deck are a little bit all over the place, so we'll see. They chose not to shuffle their library. Because we played Agadeem, I suspect that they are looking for counter spells. Not a wasteland, that's... I could just get a Narco over here and start the beatdown. Cabal Ritual. So we have more mana than we can shake a stick at. We can definitely do some Charbelcher in, if we can find one. Or a mirror. That will get us what we need. An Underground Sea. We're looking at here. A Thought Seas. Interesting. Our hand's pretty redundant apart from this Entomb, I think. And we're going to fire off this Entomb. I have a choice about what we get here. I think we want the Echo rather than the Narcomoeba. Although if they take the Ornithopter, they do take out both of our Culling the Weaks in one fell swoop. So maybe we do need the Narcomoeba here. Because otherwise they take our Ornithopter and we lose 3 cards essentially. Right, so we have a 1/1. Let's see what they want to do with their Thoughtseize. I took a Dark Ritual. Need a payoff. Not a payoff. Let's go to attacks. No Bowmasters on our Narcomoeba, but that's reassuring. Kind of getting Doomsday vibes a little bit from our opponent. Right, Pluto Delta being cracked. Wishclaw Talisman. Okay, so our opponent's on some sort of Ad Nauseam Tendrils type deck here. Okay. This means that they're probably not on counter spells. So let's play a Mox Opal. Let's play... We want to cast this Culling the Weak first, don't we? Probably should attack for 1 first. That was a bit of an error. Right, let's play this one out. Showing us this Wishclaw Talisman has made me quite happy with that situation. So let's play this. We've got 11 mana. We can kill our opponent in a multitude of ways here. I think we'll go for Charbelcher because if they have Veil of Summer, that can stop what we're doing. But Charbelcher gets around that. So we'd have gone for like the Gaia's Blessing, not Gaia's Blessing, Gaia's Will into Tendril's Kill. Well, we could have just chained Tutors into Tendrils as well. But the problem with that is a Veil of Summer off this tropical island would kill us. And leave us with nothing. Belch you up. -33. Boom. Alright. So, our opponent is a Storm deck. I think we want Leyline of Anticipation here. Maybe we're binning off these Griefs. We don't know if this is a Leyline of the Void matchup either. But I think we just want these Leylines of Anticipation in. And try this. Oh, yeah. This is an interesting one. So we can Echo here. Or we can Infernal Tutor, Crack Lion's Eye Diamond and do some stuff. Go on. I can't resist this one. It's wild. I don't think we're supposed to just try and go off now. Or maybe we are. We can at least mulligan our opponent's hand. Let's do it. I've never done this before. I want to live the dream. Play this Lion's Eye Diamond. I guess we'll play out this Chrome Mox imprinting Infernal Tutor. And we'll get a cheeky little wheel going. So we're mulliganing our opponent against their will. And we've got 2 mana on board. And an Ornithopter. Yeah, I think this does it, right? We can't play lands. We only just have spells here, but I think we're okay. This is black. We cast Culling the Weak, sacrificing his Ornithopter. Cast this. Storm is 8. This will be Storm 9. And then it'll be Storm 10 after that. This is how it writes. So I play this and then I can cast a spell. So this will be lethal. Not sacrificing the Leyline of Anticipation. That would be bad. This takes us up to Storm 9. We get another spell that we then get to cast. So that will be the 10th one. And we get to Tendrils our opponent out. There we go. Pretty nice. Yes. That's the first time I've ever won with a Leyline of Anticipation, I think. Pretty happy about that one. Yeah. Pretty spicy. Hope you're proud of me, Tony. I did you good there. Alright. We are 2-1. Let's get to round 4. Alright, we're on the play for round 4. Not a bad place to be. What does our hand achieve? We can grief our opponents and then get Beseech the Mirror going. What does that actually do for us? So we would cast... So we'd have 1 spell, 2 spell, 3 spell, 4 spell. And we cast this Beseech, which lets us replay these. Yeah, I think this kills on turn 1 with grief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is a turn 1 Tendrils with grief protection. That's pretty gross. Wait, does that actually... Yes, because we have the Cabal... No, wait, I'm just trying to work out. If we... So we sacrifice the grief to the Culling the Weak. So that gives us 4 mana to start with. Play this and this. No, we need another artifact, right? Have I messed this one up? So this griefs them, gets us 4 mana, which then the Ornithopter sacrifices for the Beseech the Mirror, which gets us Gaia's Will, which lets us play this, and which lets us play this, and we're not going to have enough mana to keep going there, are we? Have I made a mistake here? We could always just wheel here. Alright. Well, we're in it now, aren't we? So, let's learn together. Oh, we've already messed this turn up. Whoops. Okay, so we're on another one of these matchups. Like, you're going to get a guy, I suppose. We have messed this one up. We were supposed to Culling the Weak that one. So now we've just kind of jammed ourselves up here. So we can Culling the Weak and cast Beseech the Mirror with no value here. Yeah, we could still get an Echo here. Right? We could just use this as a Diabolic Tutor. And try that. Whoops. Alright. Sure, I guess. A little bit embarrassing. There's 4 mana. So then we cast this. We're going to get a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play this Lion's Eye Diamond. Mulligan our opponent against their will. And go again here. So we can play out this Ornithopter, this Ornithopter, this Mox Opal, this. Then we have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Yeah, that's lethal. This goes and gets us Tendrils of Agony, which we then point at our opponent's face. We found the line. Yeah, okay. Wasn't quite how we drew it up. Yeah, we could have had the casting there, but I think maybe getting the Lion's Eye Diamond might have been the better thing all along. But maybe I'm just saying that because it got us there. Who knows? All right, let's go to the sideboard. I think we want to do ley lines here and get rid of Griefs and Cabal Therapy and stick this empty in as well and try this. What does our hand do here? Do this so we can entomb. This spins the wheel on turn 1 with leftovers. I think this is acceptable. Turn 1 Archon will beat us. The only thing that we have that can beat that is the turn 0 leyline kill. Alright, opponent, don't ruin my day. Okay, Chromox. Is this going to be the Archon? Seasoned Dungeoneer. That does tap for white mana. Okay. An Anointed Peacekeeper. Similar but different. This is going to jam us up. I think they'd probably name the Lion's Eye Diamond here. Could be the Petal, I suppose. I think they have to name one of our starting pieces of mana, though. Mox Opal. Okay, so we can still spin the wheel this turn. Dark Ritual. I don't hate that one. Alright, so we can play out our Lion's Eye Diamond here. I think we want to play out our Lotus Petal first, actually. So we play the Lion's Eye Diamond. And then we go for a Dark Ritual. And a Cabal Ritual. Then Entomb. For an Echo. Catch a triple blue. Spin that wheel. And we used up our blue mana because we're pretty black intensive what we're trying to accomplish here. Where does this actually go? If we'd left a blue mana, we would have been in a better spot, actually. Interesting. We can Cabal Therapy our Echo into our graveyard, but that doesn't really help us here. We need to get red mana. I don't know how we're supposed to accomplish that. I'll play this out. If we entomb... We can entomb for Cabal Therapy. Does that actually achieve anything right now? I don't think it does. Kind of jammed ourselves up a little here, haven't we? Suppose we'll go and get ourselves a Narcomoeba. Yeah, this spin was pretty awkward. The ley line not really doing us any favours. So I think we get the Narcomoeba because the only way this Echo is going to be useful is if we have a Lion's Eye Diamond, which we'll put into graveyard anyway. So I think if we entomb now, while we've got this mana floating, we at least have some stuff going on. Do not think we are going to win this one. Should have left up a blue. Could have Cabal Therapied ourselves. Alright. Let's get this Narcomoeba. Who's the beatdown now? Play this. We'll not pay 3 life. We'll keep the Ornithopter in hand, I think. We don't want a creature that they can remove. We want to be able to play something and immediately be able to sacrifice it for when we need to do sacrificing things. Alright, opponent. Lion's Eye Diamond would be very good for us. Okay, Lion's Eye Diamond would be very bad for us. They found a Chalice. Give Traitors. Favour Mirror Breaker. Yep, we're just going to take a bash here, and that's fine. So our 0 drops no longer good. Keeping this Ornithopter in hand to play around potential removal is kind of cost us a little bit there. So I guess we are probably attacking here. We're not blocking, so... Alright. How bad is this going to be for us? It can't get much worse than it already is, really, but... An Archon, we are definitely dead. Yep, so we're going to take 5 here. They've got follow-up threat now. Cavern of Souls, naming human, presumably. Yep. We're going to see an initiative creature. We are. Okay. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we are dead on the next turn. Not really sure what we draw for one turn that can keep us alive. A dark ritual. Does that help? No. So if we block the anointed peacekeeper this turn, we might not die. So we get one more spin of the wheel. Try and draw something. Problem is we can't really get Hellbent for this Infernal Tutor. And we can't get a Beseech the Mirror going because we're not going to have anything to sacrifice. And we can't get a Lion's Eye Diamond because of the Chalice. I think we are dead, is what's happening. Solituding our creature. Sure. We're very dead. Okay. So now I think we are looking at getting rid of these ley lines. Which means you can bring in some disruption. Oh, the Cabal Therapy wasn't even in our deck there. Alright. Maybe some griefs in there. Like, do we want the One Ring as a thing? I don't think that's going to help us out there. Sure, let's just turn one our opponent. It's close, but it's not good enough, is it? We don't... I guess we could... No, this doesn't get us there. I think we mulligan this. This is 1 mana off of being able to do anything still. If this is an Ornithopter, this hand would be pretty good. Alright, I think we're going to mulligan. So, what do we have here? We have 1 mana, 2 mana. So this is 5 cards though. So it's not going to be enough here. So I think we have to mulligan again. Spinning that wheel is the plan, I suppose. We have no starting mana here. So we can't get these gone. Okay. Alright. This is the 2 we were looking for, so... Oh wait, no, we get 3 of these, don't we? That's interesting. So I guess we keep the Mox. Opponent feels like they've F6 here. Let's just do our thing. Okay, so we can play this out. Play this out. This taps for black. Gives us Dark Ritual. Into Dark Ritual. Into Entomb. We could spin the wheel again and we just make a whole load of goblins. I think we're just going to make a load of goblins, to be honest. So if we do this and get a Narcomoeba in our graveyard, then we can cast this. And then we cast this, empty the warrens for many goblins. Can you beat 21 power on turn 1, opponent? I hope not. Especially when they've got a fresh hand that they didn't want to keep in the first place, necessarily. Yes, we got the match. The Goblin plan worked out pretty well there. But a Tendrils kill probably works there as well, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so a Tendrils kill would have done it there. Not bad on a cheeky mull to 3. Going to the final round, we are 3-1. On the play for round 5. What does our hand do? It has no starting mana, so it technically doesn't do anything. I don't think we can keep this one, unfortunately. We have nothing to sack to Culling the Weak. I don't like it. We're going lower. These Culling the Weaks with nothing to do with them don't feel amazing to me. Oh dear, oh dear. We're just floating around a little bit now, aren't we? 3 cards. What could I do with 3 cards here? Nothing. Alright, we're going for the Echo Lion's Eye Diamond. I guess keeping 2 cards is better than nothing. So we'll keep a Mana Source and probably a Dark Ritual. So we have to get rid of all of these. We are not winning this game, is what I've discovered. Maybe we're not supposed to play this out in case we get Wastelanded. Not a Wasteland, okay. Yeah, I think we probably weren't supposed to play out that Agadem there, if I'm being honest. Elvish Spirit Guide. Shardless Agent. What is this going to cascade into? Rhinos, perhaps? Okay, let's see the whole deck here. Yeah, just standard Rhino things. Alright. Okay, that doesn't really get us anywhere. Nothing out of the ordinary that I can see here. so we're going to take 10 this turn and then 10 the next turn. Alright. And we're dead. Okay, we mulligan pretty brutally there. What do we want in this matchup? I think we just want to resubmit the same. I don't think we have any way of improving necessarily. Like, Empty the Warrens is okay here, but I don't even think it's that great. Do you want some sort of leyline combo in here? I don't think so. Maybe we just submit. Interesting. We get to grief them, and then we get to wheel. We get to wheel with mana floating. That's pretty tasty. Wonder what they're looking for. Maybe they think we're oops all spells. The Agadeem, and they're going to look for a leyline, which would be very strong against us right now. Okay, so I think we will grief, pitch, and grief. We do not want to exile this Tendrils. We want this to go back into our deck. What have you got, opponent? A Force of Negation and a Force of Will. Very rude. Yikes. Guess you take the Force of Will. Or no, we're not Force of Negation, right? Because the Force of Will hurts them for 1 and doesn't exile it, and that might be quite important. So now what are we supposed to do? They have a Force of Will. I guess we try and pass and maybe get like a natural Tendrils later on. That's quite easy for our opponent to shut down. Yep, I think we are somewhat cooked here. Right, that's not unhelpful. Can get a little natty Tendrils going off if we want to. Problem is our opponent is on 20. They'll be cycling this Lorien Revealed here so they can make their Shadow's Agent next turn. A Goblin Charbelcher. That will not resolve. So we could go Petal, Petal, Ritual, Charbelcher. Lion's Eye Diamond, activate, kill you. But that's not going to work. We need to find a grief. If we can find a grief, we can then pitch this Tendrils Agony to the grief and then have the kill through one piece of permission. Alright. There's the Tropical Island. Here comes the Shadow's Agent. Yeah, the deck with 8 main deck forces is going to be a bit of a tough one. Yep, so I get the Crashing Footfalls here. 10 power in play. Quite a lot of power. Echo of Eons. Okay. There's a line here. So I think we play out this Lotus Petal. Don't play out this Lotus Petal. Play out this Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm thinking about this one. Storm is only 3. Okay, so they had a Force of Negation. Interesting. Oh dear. Alright, let's go for a Dark Ritual here. We can smash down this Charbelcher. Or we can cast it in Tomb and try and wheel. I just don't think Charbelcher is going to get there in time. Flash this back. Now we are going to be refilling our opponent's grip with their 8 Force of Will deck. 4 Force of Will, 4 Force of Negation. Alright, they did still have another blue card and the Force in there. Okay, so now we need to draw a Lion's Eye Diamond to have any hope. And we have 1 turn to do that. Alright, I feel we're going to be absolutely ruined here. Yep, that's 10 right to the face. Oh no, it's not. It's slightly more than 10. But not that it changes the clock. Did we draw a Lion's Eye Diamond? We did not draw a Lion's Eye Diamond. We are dead. And that is the end of the league. Alright, so we finished with a 3-2, which is, you know, as someone who is very bad at playing Storm decks, I don't think that's too shabby for us. I think that last round was pretty unfortunate. We did mulligan pretty aggressively sometimes, maybe more so than we needed to, but again, that's my lack of knowledge of Storm decks. Alright, let's talk about the deck. So, as I mentioned, we did mulligan a fair bit, which is expected with these sorts of decks. But what I noticed is we were getting a lot more unkeepable hands than I was expecting. You know, things with no starting mana, or culling the weak, but nothing to sack to it, or sometimes having an Ornithopter and nothing to do with it. Although the Ornithopter rarely felt bad, because the Ornithopter was either turning on the Mox Opal, or turning on the culling the weak, or sometimes being a thing for the Beseech the Mirror. But it was doing stuff whereas the Culling the Weak wasn't always doing anything. It was sometimes in our hand as just a blank card because we didn't have anything to go with it. So I wouldn't be opposed to having more 0-drop creatures to help with the Culling the Weak. But then what are you cutting, I guess? I think you could probably trim one of the Chrome Moxes, maybe. Maybe that's a bit squiffy, though, because you do need starting mana a lot in this deck. And it's not always easy to come by. We can't really play other mana, like the Spirit Guides don't give us the colours we need, and we obviously can't play any lands if we want to play the Charbelcher kill. So that's a little bit awkward too. I think, like, we did kill people with Charbelcher, so it's definitely got some use. I'm just trying to work out if, does this deck need to be a Charbelcher deck? I don't know. It does feel like we need some more starting mana sometimes. Like, maybe we just got a little bit unfortunate here. Obviously, these decks, like these Belcher decks, have been around for a while with, you know, the configuration of Agadeem's Awakening and stuff to try and get you through. But the fact that we can't really use other colours of mana is a little bit awkward. Like, Oopsal Spells has a similar problem with getting black mana sometimes as well. But they do have like this Wild Cantor Summoner's Pact line, so they have slightly more access to it. But once you get rolling with this deck, it is, you know, it's pretty powerful. As you saw, we got a turn 0, we got turn 1s. We certainly bodied a fair few opponents today. It does feel quite fragile as a Storm deck. But the flexibility of Beseech the Mirror, we saw. You know, we had lines where we went to get the Charbelcher. We had that line where we used it as just Demonic Tutor. Sorry, not Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Tutor, just to get the Lion's Eye Diamond to then do our Echo. And that we won that game that turn, so that was pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure about the sideboard, but again, these decks are very hard to do sideboarding with because all your moving pieces are kind of necessary. Like, the only things that didn't feel that necessary in some games was like the Grief Cabal Therapy package. Because if you don't need to discard your opponent, you can board in things like Ley Lines and Empty and just get them that way. So I'm certainly not a knowledgeable enough person to tell you how to fix this deck. This isn't really my wheelhouse, but I can certainly highlight the things that didn't feel right, which was the lack of starting mana sometimes felt awkward. And Infernal Tutor definitely jammed us up as a tutor. There were definitely games where if it was a Wishcore Talisman, it might have been better for us, because we had like a bunch of cards in hand, so we couldn't really do anything with it. But then again, you do also have those games you might have where you have Infernal Tutor and then you use it to get another ritual that you already have in your hand. But that's a lot less likely in this deck because we don't have as much mana. We're not like an Ad Nauseam Tendrils deck where you're playing out a few land drops so you can just cast an Infernal Tutor as a put another Dark Ritual in my hand spell. Nevertheless, I had a pretty fun time with this one, and I think we're going to see all sorts of experiments with Beseech the Mirror before anyone works out the optimal list with them. So I think tomorrow there's a video on the channel with the winning... I'm playing the ELM winning deck list on the channel. I've already recorded that one, just doing it slightly out of order. But that one's going to be on the channel tomorrow, which is a different sort of Beseech the Mirror deck. That one's not a combo deck in the form of like Storm. It's a combo deck in the form of Leyline Helm. So there's definitely different angles you can do for Beseech the Mirror. I think Storm is definitely going to have lots of different options. I've seen many people doing some turn 1 kills with it already, and I expect this to be an absolute powerhouse in Legacy. And I don't think it's going to be too good to get banned, but I think it is right at that top level of power of something that's going to be ruining a lot of people's days and also making a lot of people's days. Like, we like to see new cards make an impact on Legacy, and this one is very much making a big old impact. Alright, I think we are done for today. So remember to like and subscribe, really helps the channel out. And if you know anyone who's interested in Legacy, by all means, send my content their way. And just keep jamming Legacy yourself. Format is great. More people playing it, the better. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.